On a quiet morning at an international tennis academy far from home, a young player repeats the same motion hundreds of times. The ball travels across the net, lands close to the baseline, and returns again and again with mechanical precision. Coaches watch carefully, not because the player is famous, but because the discipline is unusual for someone so young. Years later, the same movement would appear on television screens around the world, sparking conversation across sports media and social platforms. The story of Alexandra Eala is not only about victories or rankings, it is about distance, adaptation, and how a player from a country with limited tennis infrastructure entered a system dominated by traditional powers. This documentary follows the journey of Alexandra Eala, tracing the path from early childhood to professional competition. It examines the training environment, the gradual transition from junior promise to senior competition, and the reasons public attention has intensified recently. It also explores how a single performance can reshape expectations for athletes representing developing tennis nations. Alexandra Eala was born into a family familiar with competitive sport. Athletic discipline existed in the household long before tennis became a career path. Early exposure to structured training created an environment where repetition and routine were normal rather than restrictive. Childhood was divided between school responsibilities and hours on the court. Unlike athletes raised within major tennis countries, local competition opportunities were limited. This created a situation where progress depended heavily on international exposure. At a young age, the decision was made to pursue training abroad. The move required cultural adjustment, separation from familiar surroundings, and immersion in a more demanding development program. The academy environment emphasized technical refinement and mental resilience equally. Matches were analyzed point by point. Losses were not treated as failures, but as diagnostic material. The player learned to construct rallies strategically rather than rely on natural talent alone. Education continued alongside training. Structured schooling allowed flexibility but demanded discipline. The combination of academics and sport required strict time management. Daily routines involved early physical conditioning, midday classes, and evening match simulations. Over time, the distinction between practice and competition blurred as training intensity mirrored tournament conditions. The career formally began on the junior circuit. Early tournaments revealed a consistent baseline style built on control and patience rather than raw power. Opponents often underestimated this approach, expecting a more aggressive but less precise game from a developing player. Instead, rallies extended, errors accumulated on the other side of the net, and results gradually improved. International junior events marked the first significant recognition. Wins against higher-ranked players indicated tactical maturity uncommon at the same age level. Coaches noted decision-making under pressure rather than just shot selection. These performances led to participation in prestigious junior championships, where the player faced athletes groomed by long-established tennis systems. A defining moment arrived during a major junior tournament season. Consistency across multiple rounds drew attention from commentators who focused on strategic discipline rather than emotional momentum. The victory that followed was not treated as a sudden breakthrough by analysts, but as the outcome of accumulated preparation. It represented proof that a player from a non-traditional tennis nation could compete within established hierarchies. Recognition expanded beyond junior rankings. Media coverage in the home country increased significantly. The athlete became a visible figure representing the possibility of professional tennis development locally. Yet the transition from junior success to professional competition introduced a new challenge. Opponents were physically stronger, rallies were faster, and scheduling demands were heavier. Early professional tournaments produced mixed results. Wins alternated with early exits. Observers often misinterpreted this phase as stagnation, but internally it reflected adaptation to pace and endurance requirements. Training shifted toward strength conditioning and match endurance. Instead of dominating through control alone, the player learned to accelerate rallies when necessary. Gradually, performance stabilized. Rankings improved step by step rather than through sudden leaps. Each improvement required qualification rounds, travel, and repeated adjustment to different court surfaces. The process demonstrated the difference between potential and sustainability in professional sport. Major achievements accumulated over time. Tournament finals and title wins at developmental professional levels confirmed competitiveness beyond junior status. Representation in international team competitions added another dimension, introducing national responsibility alongside individual performance. Each match carried symbolic significance for supporters from a region rarely represented deep in tennis draws. However, the career did not progress without setbacks. Injuries interrupted training cycles, travel fatigue affected performance consistency. There were matches lost after leading positions, revealing the mental demands of extended seasons. Critics occasionally questioned whether early success could translate into top-tier professional achievement. The athlete responded not through statements, but through continued participation and incremental improvement. Now, the focus shifts to why Alexandra Eala is trending at this moment. Public attention intensified following a recent tournament performance where a sequence of matches demonstrated a level of composure against higher-ranked opponents rarely seen before in the same context. The event began with a routine entry into the competition, initially receiving minimal global coverage. Early rounds were broadcast primarily to regional audiences. In a mid-tournament match, a comeback victory occurred after a significant deficit. Clips of extended rallies circulated online, highlighting defensive retrieval and precise counterattacking placement. The footage spread across sports discussion forums within hours. Analysts began reviewing previous matches, noticing similar patterns previously overlooked because they occurred outside major broadcast windows. The next match amplified the discussion. Facing a seeded opponent, Alexandra Eala maintained consistency under pressure, avoiding risky shots while forcing errors through depth and placement. Commentators noted strategic patience, uncommon among younger competitors in aggressive modern tennis. The match result triggered coverage from international sports media outlets that had previously mentioned the player only occasionally. The trend accelerated when the statistics were published. Data showed unusually low unforced error rates compared with tour averages during the event. This shifted the conversation from emotional reaction to analytical evaluation. Instead of framing the story as an upset, media framed it as a tactical model worth studying. The timeline of the trend followed a clear pattern. First, highlight clips circulated through niche tennis communities. Second, statistical analysis appeared on specialized sports platforms. Third, mainstream media reported the narrative as an emerging player challenging established expectations. Social discussion expanded when former professionals commented publicly on the playing style's effectiveness against modern power-based strategies. People are talking about it now rather than earlier because the performance occurred on a widely broadcast stage rather than lower-tier events. Previous results required dedicated followers to notice. This tournament provided global visibility and comparative context. Observers could measure performance directly against top competition instead of projections based on junior success. Public reaction in the home country has been significant. Coverage expanded beyond sports sections into general news programming. Discussions emphasize long-term development pathways for future players. International reaction has been more analytical, focusing on playing style sustainability against evolving competition. At present, Alexandra Eala occupies a transitional phase. Rankings continue to evolve, and consistency across multiple tournaments will determine trajectory. Coaches emphasize maintaining physical conditioning to support extended rallies while gradually adding offensive variation. Looking ahead, future possibilities include deeper participation in major tournaments and potential influence on youth tennis participation in regions previously underrepresented in the sport. The long-term legacy may extend beyond personal achievements, demonstrating that structured training pathways can produce competitive players regardless of geographic origin. The story ultimately illustrates a broader principle within modern sport. Exposure combined with preparation can transform perception. What once appeared exceptional becomes explainable through analysis. What seemed improbable
becomes repeatable through systems. If you found this documentary insightful and want more detailed stories about athletes shaping global sport, subscribe to the channel and follow upcoming releases.